Last week, I introduced you to Willard Simpson, a retired farmer who lives in Franklin Grove, between Rochelle and Dixon. He was raised in Fairfield, east of St. Louis, and he fought under General Patton as a combat engineer in the race to Berlin and came back to build a long and happy life. And he found himself recognized during the recent Mendota Sweet Corn Festival parade. He has a friend who has relatives in Mendota who knows a local figure, Bill Hunt, who knows us. And well, that's how I eventually came to talk to Willard. And I'm very glad that we were able to put this together. And I'm glad that Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial in LaSalle is making it possible. Willard turns 100 years old on Tuesday, the 3rd. So we talked and talked and talked, and I decided I wanted to share some of the leisurely chat we had over a couple of weeks of these videos. Last week, we talked about Willard's time in Patton's Army in the European Theater of Operations in World War II. And this week, you're going to hear about what he did when he came home and built his future in the fertile soil of Illinois.
You worked in the oil fields as a young man and a recent veteran. What else did you do with your life?
Well, then I got married in December of '46, and I didn't think an evening shift was the right thing to do. So I thought, well, I'll quit the oil field and go to work. There was a factory in Fairfield, so I worked in the factory till March of '48. That was just 40 hours a week. It just looked like it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough time. I wanted to work. I'd at least work 6 days a week.
Well, sure, you were ambitious and you had a lot to accomplish, right?
And so I had too much time on my hands.
Okay.
So in February, I talked it over with the wife. I said, let's go farming.
You learned the farming business on the farm as a hired man.
As a hired man. For 2 years I did that. And then I decided I wanted to go farming myself. So I had a chance to stay in Milledgeville and be a farmer. And it was mostly dairy. That didn't appeal to me.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I'll keep looking. And I ended up in Franklin Grove, Illinois in 1950.
Okay.
And I was on a hog farm, and that appealed to me.
What about that appealed to you?
Well, you could turn in 6 months. You would have hogs to sell.
So how long were you a hog farmer then, Willard?
From 1950 to 1975, I raised hogs.
25 solid years.
Yes.
Did you do anything after that, or did you?
In 1975, I had purchased 3 farms.
Oh.
That's unbelievable, but I had my name on 3 farms. I was buying them on contract. So I got out of the livestock business and started running farms. And so I got too much land. So I had one of my sons wanted to go farming with me. So that worked out real good. He and I farmed from 78 to 2000.
So you did 25 years livestock, 25 years grain. You know agriculture very, very well. Is it just something that you just I mean, you started off in the oil business, in the oil fields. Just something you had an affinity for this, for agriculture?
Well, my dad and mother lived on a farm where I was born,
Mm-hmm.
and I helped my dad farm, and so farming was something I liked. So,
And you got excellent training as a hired hand too.
Yes, and so in 2000, my son was killed in a snowmobile accident.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, so that I decided I would just give up farming.
I'm sorry, Willard.
Yeah, and I've been. I still live on the farms, and
Mm-hmm.
I still own two of them. I sold one, and
Well, you still have two. That's quite a thing.
yes.
You're in the middle of a segment of an interview I did a couple of weeks ago with Willard Simpson. We had a great talk. I want you to notice the one thing that's still on his bucket list.
I've always thought it would be nice to jump out of an airplane.
You've always wanted to skydive?
I always wanted to skydive.
Do you know, you wouldn't know this, I actually covered the woman who was 104 years old and she jumped in Ottawa last year.
Yes.
And that was one of the most delightful things I've ever covered, was somebody who was 100 years old jumping out of an airplane. You ought to do it, Willard. I'm not, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take responsibility for making you do something or pressuring you to do something, but I have to tell you, I just covered that very story last year, and she was about the happiest person I've ever seen. So.
Well, yeah, you jump with a person that knows
Mm-hmm.
that's he's jumped before.
Yep.
And so it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary, I don't think.
Well, if you decide to jump, I want to be there to record it and interview you, because I can say that I knew you before you jumped. So why do you want to jump out of an airplane?
I have no idea. I seen people when I was in the Army, jumping out of
The paratroopers?
paratroopers. Yep. And I thought that. Well, I know that was, from what I've read, it's very, very dangerous, which I didn't realize maybe that it was as dangerous as it is. But anyway.
Well, today it's a lot easier. You don't have people shooting at you on the way down, at least.
I just thought that I don't know. I just thought that'd be a good thing to do. So
I think that would be too. Willard, tell me about you had just one child?
No, I had 3 boys and a girl.
Okay. Any grandchildren?
I've got 9 grandchildren.
Happy birthday to my new friend Willard Simpson, and I hope you get to that jump. And thanks again to Kathleen Whalen of Whalen Financial in LaSalle for sponsoring this Weekend Reset. Then I'll talk to you in the morning.